Hi guys, Lewted host here with another dank stream. I wasn't gonna stream Attila, but I realized that I haven't been streaming Attila for a while. So there's good news in this stream. The first thing is I'm gonna be making my Total War Attila faction review soon. That's good news, obviously, because my Rome 2 one has had 10 people look at it, so at least I'm doing something right there. But also, I'm doing it because the Slavic Nations pack looks like it's going to be either the last or second last DLCs for Total War Attila, since Warhammer is coming out this month. In fact, I think it's coming out next week, Tuesday. Yeah, it's coming out next week, Tuesday. So, we're looking forward to that. But anyway, I wanted to jump right into it. Now, as most of you know, or if you don't watch me, then what I like to do is I like to play as the hard factions. For example, the Franks. The Franks are pretty hard to win with, but they do have a lot of options. They are like my favorite faction in Total War Attila as of now. They are pretty good. They're pretty good offensively, defensively, just all around. They do have throwing axes, which is nice, but of course throwing axes are less accurate than regular precursors, although they do more damage. They also have less range. Just thought I'd mention that. Another thing is the desert factions. What are the desert factions? There are 5 right now, and then there are the Sassanids, which are not desert factions, but they are also eastern. The desert factions are eastern, even though they're mostly in the southern part of the world. Not a big deal. So there's Axum, there is the Garamantians, there's Himyar, there's Lakmins, and then there's the Tanukids. Those are your 5 desert factions. These desert factions are like the hardest to play as because their best cavalry are usually camels. Their shock cav, every desert faction has a shock cav camel. But most of your cav consists of camels, like your best cav units. Like for example, Kushite Melisholatai are a horse unit, and so are these Bet Georgis cav. These guys are like are good for Axum, and I probably would bring them, but I haven't played as Axum for a while. But then you have armored camel warriors, which, you know, because they're camels, they have better health than horses do, which is, I think, historically accurate. I don't know. But yeah, most of the times your best cav units are camels. These armored camels have a melee defense of 10, meaning that they will not defend themselves for very long. But their armor is 60 and their health is 337, and they're also very heavy. It could be a good idea to use these guys as a way of blocking charges and just keeping them in there for like your somewhat decent infantry to get in. Like the desert factions overall have alright infantry. Like, it depends on which faction you play as. The Garamantians and the Tanukids, or actually more the Garamantians, don't have the best of infantry, but they do have a good spear unit. Your best melee infantry unit is a Roman defector, so you do struggle in that regard. You struggle like for killing power with your infantry, but with the desert factions, most of your killing does come from your cavalry. And not just that, but if you play to the faction strengths, most, like the Garamantians, for example, have Garamantian lancers, which are light. They also have camels, like camel lancers, which all factions have, camel warriors, armored camel warriors, and Turag camel spearmen. So the biggest downfall with the the desert factions overall is the fact that their cavalry is slower. However, the plus side is that the camels obviously scare horses, so they can possibly route them a bit faster than other units can. They don't have any infantry that scares other infantry though. I've struggled with the desert factions, especially Garamantia. I've won with every total Attila faction. I've won with every faction except I think the Slavs, or maybe I did. I remember winning with the Antians and the Venedians, but I don't know if I won with where is it? Sclavenians. In any case, the Slavs are pretty overpowered, so I don't really use them that much. But overall, the desert factions are pretty hard to use, let alone win with. Like, the Tanukids are probably the hardest in both multiplayer and the campaign. Their best units are technically their pikes. They do have Tanukid ambushers which have a good charge bonus, but these guys get shredded in a prolonged fight. Kushite Sholatai are good, but relying on them usually is problematic, especially if they get flanked. Then you have your Roman defectors and these rebellion militia, which are somewhat useful in the campaign for like garrison bonuses and public order. Elite Nubian archers have a good rate of fire. I respect that. Slingers also have it. The Badia skirmishers have a questionable use. They do scare others and are immune to fear. And they're somewhat decent for supporting cav engagements, but these guys, if they get charged by cavalry themselves, are going to go down very quickly. The Tanukids do have Clibonari, which is nice, and their Clibonari is the same as the Eastern Roman Empires, which would make sense if you have played the campaign. Mavius Chosen and Sandstorm Lancers are both very light, very fast, and are very good for rear hits. But overall, the Tanukids struggle a lot, and it's so hard to use them effectively. Like, I showed you guys in a recent stream that somebody tried to use ambushers, the Tanukid ambushers, and then follow up with their own cav and a few archers, but it didn't work. Most of the times you'll probably be using Kushite Sholatai, but I do recommend bringing Palatino defectors as well, or legionary defectors depending on what you want to do with them. Of course, it's up to you, so do what you want to do. But the Romans struggle the most in this game. They don't have the same melee power that they have in Rome 2, but they do have more health than the other factions. And I mean, this is mostly true for the Greeks or the Hellenic factions and the Romans in Rome 2. Like, they have more health overall and better morale, but have less melee stats. Anyway, moving on. Today I wanted to try to win with a desert faction, preferably the Garamantians. Like I said, oh yeah, I have a mod on. I have to take that off first. Or do I? I probably do. Let me check. Because I thought I took it off. Do I have a mod on? I'll be right back, guys. Alright, false alarm. I don't have a mod on. Basically, those two games were just modded, so I couldn't play them. I'm going to go right back into the topic, hopefully get a multiplayer battle going, If not, I'll end the stream quickly or shortly, and then make up for it tomorrow. I might end up streaming a RuneScape Chronicle. It's a game or a card game made by Jagex, and it's pretty good. It's not bad. I got my my code back in March, but I only started playing it this month. Alright, so I'm pretty sure that my game is not modded. I'm surprised. Not a lot of games going on. I mean, to be fair, after a certain patch, not a lot of games were going on. Yeah, this is the real faction. Okay. Let's try that again. This is Medieval Kingdom, the mod that I still can't find on Steam. I might just have to jump into replays, because it doesn't seem like there's much people making battles, and I don't like hosting battles myself. Yeah, seems like I'll have to do that. Seems like I'm gonna have to do replays. What a shame. I did win with the Garamantians. I've won with every faction. The Tanukids were the hardest though, because I lost like 3 battles with them before I actually got a win. Or maybe I'll just go to the one where I got Axum. Yeah, these are old. Like, I got these back in March. Yeah, this is definitely old. Caledonians, Danes, Axum. Here it is. Oh, shoot, but I shouldn't have made this count because I remember this one. Or maybe no, this was it. I'll just find another faction. This one I won as the Garamantians. Well, I'll just show you guys this one. Basically, I was playing as the Garamantians, my ally was playing as the Saxons. We were going up against the Eastern Roman Empire and the Tanukids. Most people like the Eastern Roman Empire over the Western Roman Empire. I can see why, because of their infantry choices. And of course the axe, the Hetera Guard. But in reality, the Eastern Roman Empire does lose in sword and like the melee infantry, which Rome is known for, against the Western Roman Empire. Like, the Western Roman Empire does outdo the Eastern Roman Empire in that field. When it comes to cavalry, and especially shock cav, the Eastern Roman Empire does it, or outdoes the Western Roman Empire. But that's just because the Eastern Roman Empire is really Greek, but they just call themselves Romans. The Byzantines were weird, man.
They shall not know what hit them. Then, if they dare stay on the field, we shall rent their bones from their bodies and crack open their skulls!
Now, heroic cavalry are very interesting because the Saxons have them, but also because the other Norse factions don't have a high tier spear cav unit. They have the high tier axe cav unit, which are pretty good, but good against infantry. These guys are good for countering, not cataphractari on the charge, but in a prolonged fight. If you can get a lancer unit like this to pull out while you're following up with a melee cav unit, a lot of good things can happen. So this battle was weird because these Tanukid ambushers came in pretty late because of how far they were. Now, I was kind of caught off guard myself when I saw the army. Now, like, rebellion militia are really easy to deal with. Because they're in loose formation, cavalry have a bonus of 10 versus them instead of 5. These pike units are pretty good. They're hard to get through, which is very unusual for pike units in Attila, even though, you know, pike units are supposed to be, like, invincible frontally. I don't like bringing pikes when I'm playing as the Eastern Roman Empire. I prefer just bringing swords, even though pikes are more of a Greek thing or Hellenic. Just because I still like them as Romans. You know, they still have the sword infantry and the health and the armor that they're supposed to as a Roman faction. It's just that they also have pikes and cav and axes, double-handed axes.
The enemy? Who was it worse? A lot of them.
These guys are not the best in prolonged fights, especially against cav, but their attack against infantry is 20, so they get like 55 attack against infantry. And their melee defense is 40, and I mean, that's not bad. That's not bad, especially against certain sword units. As always, axes can dominate spears. So you have to be careful of that when you're playing as a spear heavy faction. Now these Tanukid ambushers are very light. Their speed is 40. But again, they're all the way back here, and you know, I didn't know why he brought rebellion militia, but it did seem kind of suspicious. This unit of Mavia's bodyguard was just here, and it was fully upgraded. It's not such a good idea to fully upgrade a Lancer Cav unit. In fact, I personally don't recommend it in Attila, just because the charge bonus of most units almost always maxes out anyway. The only thing you have to be careful of when you're using Lancers is javelins and flaming shot. That's pretty much it. Everything else can be dealt with pretty easily. So anyway, I brought up 3 Amazigh Lancers. I like the Amazigh units. The Lancers are no different. They're pretty cheap, even though they have 206 charge bonus. As always, a unit with like over 100 charge should be able to max out on the charge against any other unit. When you're going head on against a spear unit, it's kind of different because the charge gets reflected on you, and so the spear unit also gets the same bonuses. But against like swords and axes, especially double-handed axes, because they don't brace well, Lancers like this are very good to, you know, just charge in frontally, even if they countercharge. As the Saxons, I like to bring javelins. I think that they're pretty useful for taking down cavalry if I don't have good cav myself. And over here, there's 4 Mavia's Chosen, I think. And Mavia's Chosen have a good charge bonus. The only thing about the charge bonus that you want to take away from is the fact that it does boost your weapon damage or melee damage in Attila. So that's really important for shock cav. Like, for example, what I'm saying is a unit like Mavia's Bodyguard with a charge bonus of 163 does 173 damage against cavalry and then 178 damage against infantry at max. You know, there's the possibility that most of their charge bonus can be blocked by armor. And these guys have 38 armor. But these guys, oh, these are Amazigh Spearmen. I didn't bring the Sharia Guard, but Sharia Guard have 60 armor. So it's possible that like 60 of their charge bonus gets deflected or ignored, and then it's just 100, and then they have 115 health. So Lancers are still deadly, but they can't kill an entire unit all the time. If you have a braced cavalry unit, or a braced infantry unit, not cavalry, and you can hold out for like 30 seconds, chances are you'll be able to beat the shock cav unit, because shock cavs are strictly one-sided. They are pretty bad in prolonged fights, obviously, and they don't have the armor most of the times to withstand a lot of javelins, let's just say. Scolae Palatinae are not, here we go, Cataphractari. Cataphractari only have 27 armor. I think Clibinari have more. Like I said though, Tanukid ambushers can get taken care of very, very easily. That's why the Tanukids are pretty hard to use. However, I'm going to try to mix up my gameplay. I'm going to try to play as the Tanukids again, get a nice replay, probably show it the next time I stream Attila. Now, had I known that there were two Tanukid ambushers, like I had somehow spotted it earlier, what I would have done was I would have just got rid of them quickly, because the shot cav of the Tanukids is all the way over here, and it would take a while for him to come back. Not only come back, but go all the way over here to help his Tanukid ambushers. And by that point, I'd probably just support with my Amazigh spearmen. Like I said, Amazigh units are pretty good. Usually they are cost effective. Amazigh spearmen have precursors which desert spears don't. They also have an excellent attack against cav, which is very useful. It's very useful to pop these guys up against a melee cav unit. That's where their cost effectiveness really shines. They're also, because they have precursors, they're also very useful for getting rid of lancers, especially like Mavia's Chosen, because they only have 8 armor. They have 194 health, but it only takes like a few precursors to get rid of them. A minimum of about 2 and a maximum of who knows. Anyway, I didn't even talk about my core. My core was the Desert Palatina Defectors. Because I looked at the faction's roster and I saw that they aren't that strong in melee infantry, because I think this was the first time I actually played as the Garamantians in a multiplayer battle. I still have a campaign battle going on with them, but it's doing pretty bad. Or like I lost an army and it was a pretty good one, and so I have to make another one, but I'm being attacked on 2 fronts. But anyway, so here is, I think, where it got pretty interesting. So I was kind of caught off guard by this frontal charge by these lancers. Now what I should have done was I should have pulled these slingers back just in case. However, he decides to pop a frenzied charge, I think. Decides that it's not worth it. His Mavia's Chosen do get caught by the slingers, but they don't take any damage. This unit of Sandstorm Lancers was, I thought he was going to come back, he didn't. Now, you can get rid of Rebellion units quickly, but now that I've seen the replay, the biggest reason why he was doing it is because he wanted his Tanukid ambushers to get up behind me, which makes sense.
The enemy has engaged our ally!
Now, I had moved back by this point because I wasn't sure what to do. I was going to help out my ally over here, but he got caught by the Cataphractari. By this point, I still have not noticed these Tanukid ambushers because they're still hidden.
We have revealed their concealed
And
men.
then I ended up noticing them. And that's when I decided to move my cavalry around a bit. Because yeah, it was around this point that I actually noticed them. And of course, because he does not have any cavalry, like he's bringing over his cav now, but because he didn't do it quickly enough, See, I wasn't able to charge into these Tanuki ambushers
We're
quickly
being
enough.
ambushed!
And so unfortunately this unit of armored camel warriors got caught. Of course, because they're very tanky, they can survive for a long time. But they still have a good charge bonus. I don't even think I got into shield wall. Not even that unit did. Pretty much just very chaotic. These sandstorm lancers don't stand a chance against camels, which is what I like about camels. The armored camels can tank out lancers. Now they can't win against lancers, so you do need to support them.
Our general is being attacked! Keep him alive!
But they are very good for defending themselves against them. Now these units of Maravio's Chosen were coming back around, and I think this unit of Desert Legionary defectors did get caught with their backs turned. So that was kind of unfortunate.
Enemy units have been rallied!
Now like I said, most of your units are, you're going to really be relying on usually camels, but like he brought good lancers, and that was a pretty good move on his part.
The men have thrown down their weapons and are fleeing!
I ended up getting to his general, which was a mistake on his part. He pulled out, which meant that he didn't get the charge bonus. And he was so preoccupied, I think, with microing his general that he wasn't paying attention to the infantry, my infantry. Because I started to win after a while. Then this unit of Hitara guards came in, and that caught me off guard again. But the Eastern Roman Empire was losing to the Saxons, and I didn't even know that. Overall, my infantry did get mashed, but they survived long enough for my cavalry to do a lot of damage. My Amazigh Lancers do get the charge off. My Sandstorm Lancers don't have a lot of armor, so they're going to drop very quickly. Over here, like I said, the infantry are holding out long enough so that the
Our men
lancers
have given
don't
up and are
rout them,
running for their lives!
rout all of them at once. So my cavalry can still support engagements. These armored camel warriors aren't the best against cav, but they do have, like, they're very tanky and can support cav engagements very well. They're also pretty good frontally. Over here, I decided to use my general to smash into the back of these units. This unit of Naga's bodyguard got hailed. And obviously he's going to lose his general like that. And it was overall just a bad choice of units that cost him.
The enemy general is fallen!
And yeah, just like that, his general dies, which means that his units are pretty much done with. And unfortunately for him, his lancers did get caught in the rear, so they can't really escape. Now over here, the Saxons actually started losing, and I was surprised because they were doing so well initially. These Attila guards are very dangerous, but he's doing all right here. Well, no, he's still losing.
A unit is running from the enemy!
So of course I knew that because the Saxons were in serious trouble, I had to support. And by this point, yeah, the Tanukids were pretty much over with, but they do struggle a lot. Or maybe I just used them poorly, I don't know. Could be both. I'm not sure if my ally left at this point. There's a possibility that he did. Magister Militum is very tanky. Not easy to beat with a unit of lancers.
Our men run from the enemy! This is shameful!
Yeah, it's basically just the rest of the battle is just me doing the rest, most of the work. Charging here, charging there, getting rid of the general, obviously.
We have gained the upper hand!
Just remember that the armored camel warriors are very heavy, so frontally against like a non-base, lighter than very heavy unit, like Attila guards even, they will mash them.
Our men are breaking off!
This unit of armored camel warriors just steamrolled these maneuver toy because they're medium. And that was pretty much the battle. So, again, good game to our opponents. They tried really hard. And that Tanuki tactic was pretty good. But it wasn't good enough, and it ended up costing them the battle. So unfortunately, that's all for today, guys. I'll try to stream tomorrow, probably get some more stuff going. But yeah, I wanted to get a multiplayer battle going, see if I could play as the Garamantians. Didn't happen, but I will continue trying. I'll probably try off stream. So thanks guys so much for watching, and hopefully you enjoyed the stream. Bye guys.